So I will introduce myself in English now. My name is Dr. Martin Müller-Wolf, and since you might have heard it in German already, I will now do it in a little bit differently. What did I study and where is my competence? If you look at me from the outside, you would say, okay, he is a doctor in psychology, he is a psychotherapist, he is a medical doctor, at least he has the basic knowledge of it, and he got his rigorosum, the German PhD work in psychotherapy, psychology. He did it in action research, also in medicine, and he did it in education. Germans say pedagogic, but education, I think, is a broader term for the English. So, in order not to stay a visionary and a theoretical guy in the ivory tower, I decided to study in the United States economics, international management, which is the German Volkswirtschaft, and also to do the so-called sociological work, which is also combined to the field of BWL, which is business development and business administration. So with these three areas, additionally as number one, I did something for my brain and for the visions and for the ethics. This is philosophy, literature, and ethics. And in this area I did my Philosophicum, that is the exam, the highest which you can have in a German university, by a philosopher and physician, physicist at the same time, Professor Dr. Karl Friedrich von Weizsäcker. I did this on the notion of time in the work of Aristotle in relation to the theory of relativity by Einstein. And so I do think I'm one of these old guys who have a broad education and who normally sit in the ivory tower. In the best case, they are on talk shows, but they never do anything. And I leave out all of the things in my life, but mentioned shortly, I almost died from an infection in Thuringia 1946, where 300,000 kids and young people and also the elderly people died and survived barely. With 4 years in 1948, I got polio, and I was lucky that my doctor was not a Nazi, and he was the highest judge in the American zone of Hof in Bavaria. So I got the medication and the iron lung 1.5 days earlier than the others, and I survived. And so I had to work hard. You must exercise 3 times 2 hours per day, or you remain crippled, and that made me finally an athlete. So I got some of my experiences, and if this wants to show you some fun, then you see me jumping on a handball court through the half circle and throwing the goal 18-16 for the Hamburg Sportverein against the Russian team, at that time the world champion. We won finally, and that is something which is a little bit symbol of my life. I do something which is innovative, so no one jumped at that time, and also which seems impossible, to throw 90 degrees angle away from where the power goes. That goes this way, and I throw it the other way, and I even scored. So I was successful, and it was not only theory, it was very pragmatic and very practical. So now on the overview, you see that I detected through my life from the age of 28 to 62 in 42 years, 1974 to then I was 30 in 1972. I really started. So in these, whatever you call it, 40, 42, 44 years, I detected a lot of deficiencies in the healthcare system. And so when I was 62, I remembered the sentence of my dying wife, Elke. That was 1982. She was 35, died from cancer. And her last words, Martin, whenever you can do something, whenever you can do something, this is still moving me and always will, against cancer and for improving health management in this world. I know you can do it, do it. And I'm not ashamed that I moved. I do think I've made it. And I do think that the system which you are seeing is the best of the world, not because I'm such a brilliant guy, but because I'm humble and I've collected the concepts of the best guys in the world, of the 62 best medical people in cardiovascular therapy and diabetes and in depression. Professor Dr. Paul Jaganowski, my medical twin, and the other 62 all together, mainly coming together in San Diego, in the rooms, in the environment of my psychology professor, which wrote the best-selling the diabetes burnout, Bill or William Bronski. Then I collected all of my experiences in my life and all of the best 22. If I collect myself and my brother, we are 24, 2 dozen, hopefully best or leading psychotherapists and psychomedical people, including the psychometric part. Then we have, this was the professor and the one who is tutoring Raphael, Dr. Martin Daumer, and his team, altogether some 20 plus persons who are working for the TRIUM GmbH in Munich, and they developed the sensor Actibelt that is measuring on the belt with a sensor, that is why it's called belt, the action Actibelt, and it's not only measuring steps, it's also measuring series of steps and the vector, backward forward, the vector left side, right side, and also the vector upside down. And so Raphael can give you some more details, and maybe he has also brought his Actibelt with him so that you can see that this is already existing and it's not a theory. What we are talking is reality, and we can even have it in industrial production. So on the one page you see together the 1 billion which I would spend if I had to decide on cancer, on oncocare, on neurocare. First we would start with multiple sclerosis. We would learn something also about Alzheimer and also about Parkinson and about all the other autoimmune effects. And do know that it is working against radiation, and so it could be certainly preventive for people who are having much contact with X-ray. So I think we have one treasure and one treasure and one treasure, and my only honor is to collect it and to put it together and to create a nice system. So I hope that this system and that my talk, which is not too academic, gives you a kind of human instruction and a kind of human introduction what could be presented to you as difficult science. Everything is, if you break it down to the simple facts, close to banality, and all the patents and all the inventions of the genius of the world. That is my last sentence. So whom did I learn from? I learned from Bill Gates. The simple idea, we should not have individualized software, but we should have one surface, Windows, which you can apply in most of the cases. Very simple idea. And he dropped out of Harvard in his third year, in the junior year, and his father was not so amused, but finally he did something, and he has now a wonderful and big foundation, and certainly he is having a better impact on the world than most of the politicians and most of the governments have. The second one was Steve Jobs, not as a father. His daughter didn't like to have him on her Harvard graduation. My son Mariam is the top financer in Wall Street. Mariam Christian Müller-Wolf. He is now responsible for 2.5 billion in Oak Tree, and he is leaving Oak Tree, so I can mention it. And he is now in a new company, and with 27 years, his yearly income will be now with the Boni system, etc., more than $1 million. And he is going into the system in order to learn how to beat it, because you do not only need to change money from the right pocket to the left pocket, but we need to do something about value. And value is climate, value is environment, value is energy, value is peace, and value is education. And so this is a different introduction in what we do with our cardio care system, is that we have two legs on which we are standing. One is the right leg, and now Raphael is probably changing it. The right leg is the cardio care value company. This is where you will be participating with 39%. If you agree, and you are welcome to agree and to finance this and also to profit from this. And this is an innovative way of financing, and we take the potential of the blockchain, but we are not doing nonsense speculative something, and we are not selling hot air like most of the crypto companies are doing. And I think this was a deficiency in the start of my respected colleague Sebastian Hecht, but I think he was on the wrong way, and he only wanted to make money, and that's not sufficient anymore. We need to have also this I call the right leg, and in addition to the financing, we need to do something with the money which we collect, and this is the individualized care, in this case for the heart, the individualized cardio care. And I've collected about 40% on the average of the persons is concerning, about 3 billion people worldwide, who need to do something now and today on diabetes type 1. That is the smallest proportion. People with genetic diabetes type 1, that's only 1%. But the other 39%, that is 15 to 20% with diabetes and pre-diabetes, and 20 to 25% with cardiovascular problems like hypertension or problems with cholesterol or other problems in the cardiovascular system. So this is what we are doing, and this is the introduction and the overview. And you are there for the money, but you're motivated and hopefully won by the vision and by the ethics and by the values. So you're not only making money, but you are kind of improving the system, and you also will liberalize the system. I will show you now the traditional and the innovative system which we are using in our first case study, and that is diabetes. Okay, I explained to Raphael, my colleague and friend, what we are doing here. So there are two legs which you need to walk on if you want to improve the healthcare system, which are called individualized health management. One is the individualization. This is the quality aspect, and that is also an efficiency aspect. Not the same standard therapy for everyone, but everyone gets his individualized, very specific, very personal therapy with the 3 columns. Mit den 3 Kolumnen, jeder bekommt seine sehr spezielle und seine sehr spezifische Therapie mit den 3 Beinen, nämlich Individualized Self-Care, das kommt jetzt als Bild, und einmal auf Englisch und einmal auf Deutsch, mit dem Individualized Support Program in der Mitte und mit dem Individualized Treatment Program. Auf Deutsch heißt das dann individualisierte Selbsttherapie, IST, individualisiertes Unterstützungsprogramm, IUP, und individualisiertes Behandlungsprogramm, IBP. So, das sind die 3 Dinge, und was sind die Vorteile vom innovativen System gegenüber dem Standardsystem. Ich überlege gerade, ob ich eventuell das so mache, dass ich immer Deutsch und Englisch hinterher mache, denn es gibt einige von Ihnen, die fühlen sich im Englischen wohler. Es gibt einige von Ihnen, die haben Basic Englisch drauf, aber die finden sicherlich die Wiederholung auf Deutsch besser. Und da ich dann eben den Computer mache und das Sprachprogramm, ist es vielleicht ganz gut, wenn ich diese Präsentation im Folgenden immer zweisprachig fortsetze. Sie kriegen es dann sozusagen zweimal gesagt, können ein bisschen drüber nachdenken, kriegen noch die visuelle Unterstützung geboten und immer wenn Sie Stopp sagen, wird Raphael anhalten und Ihnen die Sachen sagen. So, you will now see, after you've seen the three columns of individualized, innovative and integrative therapy, you see our guide system, and the guide system is this what we are using also in our practical example, which is cardio care. And cardio care I have again divided, I like right and left leg. One leg, we call it now maybe the right leg, is the one where it starts. It's either genetic diabetes, something is wrong with the insulin production, or it is the lifestyle diabetic because of the wrong lifestyle, inadequate nutrition, inadequate alimentation, inadequate lifestyle, too much alcohol, too much smoking, too little movement, especially movement is important. You have ruined your insulin production and you either need to take medication first stage in order to balance it out, or you even need to give yourself doses of insulin in order to stay healthy and to stay okay. So this is the first is the guide, and there you see the guide. It's on the top, and it's having questions which are relating to the left box, individualized self-care in English. Das sind einmal im Leitsystem die Überblicksfragen, die sich zu dem rot gekennzeichneten Teil in der linken Box hinbewegen oder darauf beziehen. Das ist die individualisierte Selbsttherapie. The second one is in green, the direct line to individualized support program, ESP, ISP in English. Das andere ist die Reflexion dessen, was wir als IUP, als individualisiertes Unterstützungsprogramm dort haben. Und dann gibt es noch als drittes das individualisierte Behandlungsprogramm, und das individualisierte Behandlungsprogramm Individualized Therapy Program oder Individualized Therapy nehmen die Amerikaner nur für die psychisch Kranken. Dort ist besser Individualized Treatment Program. Individualized Treatment Program is the better term for the United States, because in the United States therapy is reduced to psychotherapy and treatment is the broader term. So some guy who has something, some problem with, let's say, diabetes would like to be called someone who has a treatment program, but if he's not depressive, which 30% or plus of the people with diabetes are, then he would rather be addressed as having a treatment and not having a therapy. Okay, so here you see now the guide system, and then you get these three feedbacks, and you can see the different value of the individualized self-care system and the individualized support program and the individualized treatment program. This is the optimum therapy, and according to the empirical results, 20% is related to the individualized treatment program, so the doctor is the least important. 30% is related to the individualized self-care, that the person is doing it. But the most important factor in diabetes, lifestyle diabetes, is the support by the environment. Why is this? I tell that now the thing in German. Also, 20% des Erfolgs bei der Diabetestherapie und Diabetes Typ 2 Lifestyle geht zurück, rechts blaue Box, auf das individualisierte Behandlungsprogramm, IBP. Weitere 30-Programm, links rote Box, gehen zurück auf das individualisierte Selbsttherapie, IST, und die restlichen 50% gehen zurück auf das individualisierte Unterstützungsprogramm. Warum so viel und warum der Unterschied zur Standardtherapie? In der Standardtherapie wird die Individualisierung verschenkt, also rechts statt 20 Punkten beim individualisierten Behandlungsprogramm instead of 20 points for the individualized treatment program. The standardized program receives only 10 points. Das standardisierte Programm erhält nur 10 Punkte. To the left, instead of 30 points for the individualized self-care, anstelle von 30 Punkten für das individualisierte Selbsttherapieprogramm IST, gibt es hier nur 15 Punkte. Instead of 30 points, you get only 15 points. And in the middle, 50 points, there is zero. No support for the diabetes patient. Why is this important? We look to the results of Professor Dr. Falk Kiefer. He is the head of the German Institute for Addictive Medicine or Addiction Medicine, zum Deutschen Institut, Zentralen Institut für Suchtmedizin. Das sind die Ergebnisse. If you have an alcoholic and the alcoholic is presented his stimulus, alcoholic drink, he has an arousal in his stem, in the stem brain, in his Stammhirn. Also wenn man einem Alkoholiker seinen Lieblingsdrink präsentiert, dann hat er eine Erregung im Hirn, die insbesondere vom emotionalen Teil, vom Stammhirn herkommt, die gemessen wird. If you present to a person with lifestyle diabetes, diabetes type 2, his favorite hamburger or juicy hamburger or whatever he likes to eat, then he also has an arousal. Wenn man einem Diabetiker, also seinen saftigen Hamburger dort präsentiert, dann ist bei dem ebenfalls eine solche Form von Erregung spürbar. And my expectation was that was something like 50 to 60% of what was measured by the alcoholic. I was wrong. It's not even as strong, but it is even stronger. It's 100 to 105, so it might be a measurement mistake. This is below significance level, so we call it equal. But this is very surprising news. The addiction of the alcoholic is as strong as the addiction of the diabetic. Die suchtbetonte Bestimmung, die Suchtabhängigkeit des Diabetikers Typ 2 mit seinen unangemessenen Essgewohnheiten ist genauso hoch wie die Abhängigkeit des Alkoholikers von Alkohol. Und dies ist natürlich ein sehr überraschendes, aber gleichzeitig striking, ein einleuchtendes Ergebnis. Denn was haben wir? Wir haben in unserem Umfeld schon eine Ächtung von Alkohol. Man nimmt zwar Alkohol, aber man weiß auch, das ist gefährlich. Und wenn man mit Alkohol nicht umgehen kann und Alkoholiker ist, versucht man es zu verstecken. Und der Alkoholiker als solcher ist kein Leitbild der Gesellschaft. Deutsche und amerikanische Forscher haben herausgefunden, dass Fette auch immer weniger beliebt werden. Das heißt, Gesundheit wird immer mehr ein positiver Faktor. Gucken wir uns die Entwicklung beim Rauchen an. In den 60er Jahren hatte jeder Filmschauspieler eine Fluppe, eine Zigarette zwischen den Lippen. So we are looking now at the social environment and on the value aspects in life. So in the 60s, everyone think of Humphrey Bogart or think of all of the other heroes had a cigarette in his mouth, and a real hero you couldn't think of without a cigarette. Der wirkliche Held hat immer eine Zigarette im Mund und natürlich war man ein ganzer Kerl, wenn man rauchte und Zigaretten rauchte, und man hatte auch keine Angst vor Krebstod und ist entsprechend auch teilweise ziemlich früh gestorben. So, die Werte haben sich verändert. Heute gelten Raucher als weniger kontrolliert, dumm und werden heimlich von Personalchefs diskriminiert und weniger eingestellt. Wenn man einen Nichtraucher und einen Raucher bekommt, beide sind gleich begabt, auch wenn 10% weniger Begabung, aber genügend Fleiß ist, wird der Nichtraucher eingestellt, weil er wird weniger krank, es gibt weniger Risiken und es ist auch besser für das Betriebsklima, weil Rauchen immer wieder eine störende Größe ist und es immer wieder Unterbrechungen gibt. Gleichzeitig weiß man durch die Forschung, dass Vasokonstriktion, nämlich das Zusammenziehen der Adern, was durch Nikotin erzeugt wird, zur Leistungsfähigkeitserhöhung führt. Das heißt, wenn der Raucher aufhört zu rauchen, wird er zunächst einmal weniger leisten können, weil seine Vasokonstriktion, das Zusammenziehen der Gefäße durch Nikotin, nicht mehr in dem Maße erfolgt wie früher. So, vasoconstriction, which is the effect of nicotine for the smoker, is something which is achievement promoting. If the smoker is stopping smoking, he will be losing performance quality. He will achieve less in quantity but also in quality. So this addiction also is not only a dangerous addiction because of lung cancer and other related cancers, it is also dangerous because of dangerous for the company, because of performance reduction and because of the negative effects on the climate in the company. So I hope I was a little bit entertaining. I was not only presenting to you this is that and these are the facts and figures, but to give you a kind of feeling for change management, because smoking has changed. The smoker today is out. Marijuana was great, and all cool boys were taking hash. Today, the acceptance of hash, of marijuana, is definitely less. So the brilliant guys are persons who are healthy and who have a healthy body and who are good in sex, and they are not necessarily smoking marijuana. That has changed in comparison to the 70s, to the 80s, and also to the 90s. And so it will be also with Fat is Beautiful. That was something like a defense in the 90s, and it's getting less and less. And now you have the TV shows with the Biggest Loser, or whatever it's called. You have the fat guys, the fat women, and they're trying to lose weight. And even Obama said in his speech on the Davos economic meeting of World Economy in February 2014, that the biggest challenge for the United States, economic challenge, not health challenge, is cardiovascular problems and especially diabetes type 2. His wife Michelle was every day about 1 hour on the TV, and so if you are doing something about cardiovascular problems, especially about diabetes type 2, you're now doing something for mankind. I will tell you now something about the Diabetes Holocaust. Ich werde Ihnen jetzt etwas über den Diabetes Holocaust erzählen. So, Sie haben hier den Guide. You have the guide. Then you have the 3 components, 1 to 3. You have individualized self-care, individualisierte Selbsttherapie. You have individualized support and action, individualized support program, individuelles Unterstützungsprogramm, und you have the individualized treatment program, das individualisierte Unterstützungsprogramm. Out of these 3 components, you create the individualized action program, and the individualized action program, there you look where is the main problem, and this you will see the next step afterwards in the presentation of our test, the guide system and the 5 reports, but now we first describe the individualized action program. So there is the patient, and he is empowered now. He sees what is green, what is yellow, what is orange, what is red. Raphael is showing you now one page where you have the three colors. That was our original one. Vielleicht hast du ja die alte Seite mit den drei Farben noch dabei. Grün, Gelb, Orange, Rot. Aus der Hyper-Version. If not, you take the new one. So on one page, the doctor sees and he needs 12 seconds. Where's the problem? What is okay? It's easy. Green is green. Yellow, you need to improve. Orange is you need to do something urgently. It's critical. And really urgent emergency is if it's red, it's very critical, maybe danger, maybe even your life is in danger. So it's a very simple system. I learned in China that green is not a positive color, but the color of misery and misfortune. So we might probably take blue or something like that as a positive color for this, or purple, whatever we will find out. So this is what you do with the individualized action program. Then the patient is going back to his normal life, and after 3 months, if he has green, if he was okay, he is checked again, and during these 3 months he might have one or the other little point to optimize still. So from 3.7 to 4 point, we call it green, but if he is 3.7, 3.8, 3.9, we still might do something to get the 4.0, the perfect score. The yellow part is from 3.0 to 3.6, so it is better than critical, but something needs to be optimized. For 3.0, apparently much more than for 3.6 or 3.5, which is close to the green area. And then we have in orange 2.1 to 3.0, that is critical. 3.0 is close to just improvement, but 2.1 is close to the red part, and then from 1.0 to 2.0 is the red part. So 1.0 or something like this for the diabetes type, this might be close to coma, and if the coma is not there yet, it might come. It's a matter of time when it's coming, because after some time, even with the best hereditary gifts and with the best talent and with the best biophysical condition when you were born, if you really mess it up, you will have a problem and you will endanger your life. So this is the short description, and now we have jumped from the addiction to the support system. If there is an addiction, you need to do something, and so if you only tell someone, okay, you need to do something, he says, yes, I do know, but he will not do anything. Es ist keine Frage der Einsicht, wenn Sie einem Diabetespatienten sagen, du musst gesund essen, das weiß er. I take 2 examples. If you have an alcoholic and the doctor would say, I have a good idea for you, dear man, dear woman, you better drink no alcohol, they would say, okay, this is not a great doctor, and send him to a psychiatry, to a psychiatric ward. Wenn jemand sagen würde zu einem Alkoholiker, ich habe eine gute Idee, trinken Sie keinen Alkohol mehr, würde man sich verscheißert fühlen, oder man würde sagen, gut, dieser Arzt muss in die Psychiatrie. Noch schlimmer wäre das, wenn es bei einem Heroinabhängigen tun würde. Even worse would it be if he would do this with a heroin addict and say, okay, a good idea, you're a heroin addict, so better be motivated and believe it hard and avoid heroin in the future. Yes, he says, I will, thank you, doctor, and he will go out and say, mother, I really want to get rid of alcohol and or really want to get rid of heroin, just give me one more money in order to start my new life. And he said, oh, I'm so glad, here are 3,000 euro, $5,000, whatever. He said, thank you very much, and he will buy heroin, he will drink alcohol, and nothing will change. But you have lied to your mother. Yes, you would lie to your mother. Your ethics are not working anymore. you are an addict. An addict means you have no control whatsoever. So motivation for someone who has no control is nonsense. It's like trying to take a match and to try to put the ocean under fire. It's not going to work. Die Wahrscheinlichkeit, einen Abhängigen nur durch Motivation, das ist ein Teil davon, aber nur durch Motivation und durch gute Sprüche vom Heroin wegzukriegen, ist so wahrscheinlich, wie dass man den Ozean mit einem Streichholz zum Wasser bringen, zum Brennen bringen kann. Wenn da zufällig ein Ölfleck drauf ist, das sind dann die wenigen Ausnahmen, wo es funktioniert. If there's by chance a little bit oil on the water, you might have a fire for some time. So this is now that we see, okay, in case of an addiction, you need to integrate the environment, that is the direct partner, or you need to find a partner. Many of the older people are living alone, so the doctor might find a partner among his patients. The normal German Doctor, the General Practitioner, der Allgemeinarzt in Deutschland, hat 160 Patienten mit Diabetes Typ 2. Diese gehen meist jetzt in Diabetes-Spezialpraxen. Those 160 diabetics that are visiting normal German Hausarzt, General Practitioner, these 160 normally find partners, and to determine and to select these partners, we have developed a program where the patient is choosing these partners, and then you can try it out, and you will have someone who is helping you every day, and this is a mutual, one is helping the other, and then you have, for instance, 5 pairs, altogether a group of 10, and with this you also can make some money. So the question is now, the economist Martin Müller-Wolf, can you make money with this? Keep in mind, there is a support program, and we have the addict system, and no one is helping the addict. We have the diabetes holocaust. Why do we have the holocaust? How can we do something against it? And how can we do it so that the doctor who is resigning, who never has had a success with the diabetes patients, that he is now pleased that he makes more money and that he is successful. Sounds like a miracle, but it's not. It's reality. Das Ganze klingt wie ein Wunder. Wie kann ich einen resignierten deutschen Arzt, der nie Erfolg hatte bei seinen Diabetes Typ 2 Patienten, dazu befähigen, dass er sich nicht mehr an den abärgert und abarbeitet und immer wieder sagt, was sie tun sollen. Die machen es aber nicht, weil er mit seinen 0,03% des Lebens, die er Kontakt hat mit einem Patienten, natürlich nichts beeinflussen kann, sondern wie kriege ich ein ständiges System hin, dass der Patient beeinflusst ist. How can I create without money for the insurance company? Wie kann ich, ohne dass die Versicherung dafür Geld zahlen muss, ein System schaffen, wo der Patient Hilfe bekommt? How can I create a system, a support system, where the insurance company does not need to pay money and the patient is helped and is creating less cost in his diabetes management. That is our Endema system, and it works like this. Bitte jetzt auflegen, das System. Here are the 10 questions of the guide. Maybe stop it. Hier sind die 10 Fragen des Guide. Die kann man auf Deutsch und auf Englisch vorlesen. Sie können sie auch sehen. Ich beschreibe die Gruppen, während Sie das lesen, und Raphael kann vielleicht zeigen. Die ersten beiden Fragen sind über allgemeine Krankheit und allgemeine Gesundheit. The first 2 questions are about general health, question 1, and the energy, so to say, the psychomed situation. I've called our system the digitalized psychomed system. Ich habe unser System das digitalisierte psychomedizinische System genannt. Das ist genau dieser zweite Punkt. Der erste Punkt, den kann der Doktor sehen, the first one, the doctor can see and can judge. He can evaluate what the general health is, but what the inner situation is, he might have an hypothesis, but especially strong men and qualified managers would always hide at the weakness. If a manager is an alcoholic, or if he is an addict, he has learned to hide his addiction, whether it's cocaine, whether it's course, he will be totally against it, but of course he can control himself until he is caught or until he has a breakdown someday. Also das ist der Blick nach innen. And so the advantage of our system is the so-called 360-degree perspective. Bei den Alleinstellungsmerkmalen unseres Systems finden Sie unter anderem die 360-Grad-Analyse. So we jump to the Alleinstellungsmerkmale. What are the characteristics which make our system unique? And there Raphael is going to show you this now. It is the three columns which you have seen. It is the 360-degree, and it is the individualized part compared to the standard part which we have already done. And then it is a learning system. So after you have done the test, you come back and there is a consequence. It's not a consequenceless talking therapy, and there is no feedback, and there is no follow-up, and there is no consequence. No, you are part of a learning system, and you will be lifelong under observation, and not only under the observation as an object of the doctor, but under the observation, the loving and supporting observation of your partner, of your wife, of your husband, of your children, of your friends, of your partners, or of your therapy partner, of your treatment partner, of your health management partner. So, and this makes sense. You are not left alone. You never walk alone. One of the songs of our century, very moving and very true. You never walk alone. Du gehst niemals allein, du bist niemals allein. Our system is accompanying you, and even you live alone, and you have this system as a friend, as a supporter, as a companion all of the time. Selbst wenn man allein lebt, und viele alte Menschen leben allein, sie haben mit diesem System einen Freund, einen Partner, and they have through the social media and our communication system, this will be later, they will find all over the world patients with the same pattern of health and the same pattern of illness. Sie werden überall in der Welt Patienten finden, ihre Partner, ihre identischen Gesundheits- und Krankheitszwillinge mit demselben Muster.